God's idea is to perfect what is weak. Because, you see, God never intended to create you a perfect being. God did not intend to create you a perfect being. So God does not want you to think about you not being perfect, but He perfecting you. Now, somebody asked the question, why would God put of knowledge of good and evil in the midst of the garden in order for man to... God created Lucifer, never placed any tree there, never did any temptations and testing. Lucifer fell. Pride got him. Let's see something about Lucifer. Ezekiel 28 verse 12. What do you read for me? Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyre, and say unto him, thus saith the Lord God, thou sealest up the sum full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Verse 13. You have been in Eden, the garden of God. Was thy covenant. Thaddeus, to pass. Go back to 14. Down to 14. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have said thee so. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of God. Thou walkest up in the midst of what stones of fire. Thou wast perfect in thy ways. He was perfect in his ways. So God has created a perfect being before. And that perfect being failed God. God said, no, now I'm coming to create an imperfect being. Give him a flesh where he is subject to pleasure and desire. But now God gave him then a flesh. He said, okay, if the perfect one failed me, let me make you imperfect. And see. Because the problem of Lucifer was, and these angels, is that they were too perfect to rely on God for perfection. And it is dangerous to be too perfect to rely on God for perfection. Then how is he your God and your Father? It's like a son that has said, I've gotten money than the father. And has pride. This man, he's not serious in life. He has nothing in life. You can actually rise against your father. You can even go and buy the small house your father built. You can go and buy it. That's what Lucifer did. Because the guy was too perfect. But what of a man that depended on the father to rise? That is why your father, when he pays school fees for you, can't forget him. Because that moment you were imperfect to pay school fees, but his perfection paid the school fees for you. And it is God's plan that you become imperfect at a point in life so that he can perfect you. And then you will say, it is the Lord who doeth it. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say here. So if you are seeking for perfection, then it is perfection in God, not your perfection. I was saying something this week. The psalmist fasted and prayed. He said, my bones are weak. I am weak in my bones. And he said, I have become a reproach unto them. And he said, when they see me, I can't even raise up my head. He said, the guy has fasted, the guy has prayed. He said, even all my flesh has become pain. What happened? God didn't mind the guy in prayer. Till the mercies of God found him. And he said, at your mercies, hearken to my prayer. So he realized that his works, his fasting, his prayer did not bring what he wanted until he mentioned the mercy of God. So that they may know that you, the Lord, did it, then God intervened.